Alright guys, so next request we got the S22 Ultra versus the Zenfone 9. So if you're in the market for a flagship device, these are some of the best phones that you can get. The Zenfone offers a more compact experience, also with a few little tricks up its sleeve. And then the S22 Ultra offers the classic sort of flagship experience. Now, as far as the software experience on these two phones, you get quite a different software experience. With Asus, you get more of a stock Android kind of feel. It doesn't really have too much going on here. Like with Samsung, you see you have a lot of Samsung applications and stuff on here and stuff like that installed. With Asus, it's really just, I think they have like one or two applications like the Asus data transfer. It's really almost stock Android. But here's the thing, you get more yearly updates with the S22 Ultra. The Asus is only getting like 2. I think the S22 Ultra, I think it gets like 4 or 5 major OS updates at this point. Samsung has the longest major OS updates, I think, for any Android phone, which is awesome. So that's also something to think about as well too. So one thing that's pretty interesting is the specs here. So the Asus does have the Qualcomm Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 Plus chip, and then it's got Adreno 730, no SD card support, 128 gigs of internal storage, and 8 gigs of RAM. Or you can get the 256 version as well too. They have online for not too much more. And then the S22 Ultra has the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 chip, and it also has the Adreno 730, 128 gigs of internal storage, 8 gigs of RAM for this one. But most of the time, most people should get the 256 gig if you have a good trade-in or something like that. As far as the specs go, so the 8 Gen 1, I've been noticing, because I was like, is there any type of difference with performance with these two chips? The Plus chip, the newer chip on the Asus versus the, the older chip. You can see these are sort of like the realistic scores. So you do get a better multi-core score, a better single-core score. So you will get a slight boost in performance. Now, as far as like my daily use, I really did not notice too much of a difference in terms of just launching applications, overall smoothness of the interfaces. You can see the Asus is just a little bit faster at loading up games and stuff like that. It's like a hair faster, really. Yeah, it's like a hair faster, so it's not like a real difference. They're both really smooth. One thing I did notice is that I don't get the scroll lag on the Asus like I do sometimes on the S22 Ultra. I've had that issue since day one on this phone. Even though you can put it in, you see it's just really smooth scrolling. Sometimes the S22 Ultra will kind of do like these random hiccups. It doesn't happen all the time, but it does. And that might be just a One UI problem as well too. As you can see, speed-wise, the 8 Gen Plus chip versus the first, the 8 Gen 1 is a little bit faster, right? Launching games and stuff like that. But like I said, it's not really like a massive difference here. As far as your gaming settings and stuff like that, they're going to be about the same. One thing I did notice, so I thought this was important, the Zenfone, I have an update for this. The Zenfone gets way less hotter than the S22 Ultra, and I think maybe it's because of the metal back on here, or the excuse me. These are the settings as well too. HDR extreme on here as well too. So like I said, you will be able to play games. It's the same settings on the S22 Ultra as well too. But I'm thinking it's because it's the glass back on the S22 Ultra. The glass heats up like it's more intense than plastic. I'm not really sure. What do you guys think? But yeah, it just feels hotter. So I think, but I do think the new chip is slightly a bit more, efficient for sure in terms of, dealing with heat and stuff like that. Talk about additional features, and this is where the S22 Ultra, it doesn't do that great of a job with these speakers actually. This is Samsung's sort of like weakest speakers in years. Compared to all the other Galaxy flagships that I have. So you might be able to hear the difference here. Yeah, so it's nowhere near as loud as the Zenfone 9. The bass is not even in the same galaxy as the Zenfone 9. The Zenfone 9 speakers are just so much better. Now, if we go back and look at like a S21 Ultra, S20 Ultra, the Galaxy Notes, they have really good speakers, but this year Samsung just kind of like they flopped with the speakers. It's just not powerful. Yeah, it's just very weak. I don't know if you guys can really hear that, but take my word for it. The speakers just not as good this year. They sound decent for stereo speakers, but this just blows it out of the water, especially even for like, you know, smaller phone. Like I said, additional features. Samsung does have a lot of cool stuff with the software as far as Samsung desktop support, secure folders, reverse wireless charging is very cool on here as well too, and we'll get into that. The Zenfone does not have any type of wireless charging. You do have wireless charging on the S22 Ultra. As far as additional features go, I really like the fingerprint scanner being in the power button on the Zenfone. You guys can see, you also take advantage of face unlock. Also, the S22 Ultra does a great job with its in-display fingerprint sensor as well too. It's extremely fast. You also have face unlock as well too. It just comes down to your preference. And then you have the built-in stylus, of course, that you can draw and navigate your phone with. And it's a really good experience for those who really are into that. But yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about the cameras. You have just a way more advanced camera setup, and this is where the extra money is coming into play here. So the S22 Ultra, it does have a 108 megapixel standard, a 10 megapixel periscope telephoto lens, a 10 megapixel telephoto lens, and then you have a 12 megapixel ultra wide. You have a macro mode, it shoots in 8K 24, a 40 megapixel selfie cam, and then you shoot in 4K 60. And then the cameras also, you do have the 100 times space zoom on here as well too, so it just gets super close. I mean, it takes great shots even at 30 times, takes excellent shots at 10 times. One of the best cameras for doing like zoom shots on. So the Zenfone 9 is got a really good camera setup, but it's just nowhere near as advanced and fancy as the S22 Ultra. So I would say if you're really into cameras, the S22 Ultra is pretty much an easy choice there. It just offers more, but again, you are paying more. You have a 50 megapixel standard on the Zenfone, 12 megapixel ultra wide. It also shoots in 8K 24. And you have a 12 megapixel selfie cam that shoots in 4K 30. So I'll show you guys the side-by-side stills. Which image processing do you guys prefer? But like I said, if I was going to choose a camera, I'd definitely go with the S22 Ultra here. Alright guys, what I'm about to say, it might surprise you guys. Battery life. The Zenfone 9 has better battery life and better standby time than the S22 Ultra. And it's not even like, oh, maybe by a little. No, it's noticeably better. And the standby time is not even comparable. So the Zenfone 9 does have a 4,300 milliamp battery with 30-watt charging. But what sucks about this phone is there's no wireless charging. The S22 Ultra has a 5,000 milliamp battery with 45-watt charging, so it charges slightly faster, and you have wireless and reverse wireless charging. So you kind of have those pros and cons there. But as far as battery life, I'm getting way better battery life on the Zenfone. Now again, you do have a bigger display on the S22 Ultra. You also have the S Pen in there, probably sucking up power. So there's probably a reason why it doesn't have that great standby time. A screen on time with the S22 Ultra, you can get around like 6 hours of screen on time for normal use. Hardcore use, like doing like stuff on your gaming and, you know, just more intense stuff, you're probably looking at like 4 hours, 30 minutes, close to 5 hours. The Asus Zenfone, it just does an excellent job. I feel like I can get pretty much up to like 7 hours pretty easy on this phone. More intense, you can probably look at 6 hours. So you are just getting better battery life to me in general on this phone. But yeah, so what do you guys think? Which phone would you guys prefer? Be sure to let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.